And welcome back to Tailosive Tech, everyone. Hello to the ones who have not shown up to the stream yet, and hello to the real people who are just now getting this, and they're going to type Notification Squad. Here we are, or Notification Quad if you watch Refried Friday. How's everyone doing? Everyone, check in the chat. I'll be reading lots of stuff today. You're on the MacBook, so that's why sound probably doesn't sound that good, but it's what we have to work with today. We're going to make the best of it. Make the best of it if we can. What has changed since the last stream? Well, first of all, 10,000. Holy cow. That's amazing. And I get, like, if you put it into perspective, sometimes that's a big accomplishment, and sometimes it's not. But we'll count our blessings. It's not every day you add a digit. Like, we're not going to do that probably till next year, unless we have a really good year. I don't know. Maybe we'll reach, what you call, 100,000. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not getting chat messages here, and I'm wondering if I'm just boring and no one wants to watch, or if something's wrong. So I'm going to be checking the live chat. Well, someone's tuning in. Whatever. We'll let people come in as they please. But 100,000, I can't even fathom the channel growing that fast. I can't even imagine that being a real number. That means I'm like an official YouTuber, right? Wouldn't I get the little play button? But anyway, there's no like warning logo this time, just because it's on a different computer, and right now I'm just trying to get us to stream, and I want to get us to stream quickly. But I'm not seeing anything in the chat, and I'm worried about that because usually we get people tuning in. So let me check on my phone real quick. Well, I'm not showing up. Maybe that's part of it. No one's getting a notification. Oh, it's because it's unlisted. Hold on a second, guys. Public. That might change some things. Yes. Okay. That would have been bad if I didn't catch up on that. Is that, hey, why isn't no one watching? Oh, whatever. Under the stream settings, I had a set to unlisted, which means if you had the link, you can watch it, and otherwise you couldn't find it. So luckily, that should be resolved, but I'm not sure if the notification goes out. Just in case, I think I'm going to stop it and start it again. Be right back. Now we're starting for real. Figured that out. What happened, if you guys are just turning in, hey, Connor, Downey, welcome, is I had the stream, I've had so many problems with live streaming, it's like the most complicated thing. But I had the stream set to unlisted because we were experimenting with stream settings the other day and what we could get away with. So like I was live and no one was notified. So hopefully a notification will go out now. But I'm not getting one, which is weird because now it's public, so it should be working. You know, the people who aren't getting notified, you're not missing much given I don't have my microphone connected. I don't have the same setup as usual, so we're just using the standard, you know, whatchamacallit, MacBook microphone, which is not good. But I wish that notification would go out. Gabrielle Kuraz, welcome. See, some people are figuring it out, but I'm not getting that notification that I usually get coming from school. Huh. Maybe it's because the stream was resumed. Maybe that threw off the stream settings. So I'm going to hang with me there for a second, guys. I'm going to make a tweet. Is that how you guys found out about this? Was my tweet I just sent out? Hopefully people get the alert. People are coming in slowly. Okay, they're coming in. Copy link. I'm just going to tell everyone on my social media. Hello. Everyone should watch me live because I'm cool and I need attention. Yeah, that's the story of the YouTube life. Anyway. 10,000 subs happened this week. Wow, like not something I thought would happen, honestly, in my lifetime. But yeah, we're already there. Now I haven't even been doing this. Hey Vito, hey Podcast. Haven't even been doing this very long. Probably about a year of doing tech videos and 5 years of doing YouTube videos. But man, it's so glad to. I'm so grateful to finally have an audience that I can interact with. Watch me live right now. There. Now everyone on Twitter will know. Okay. Keep up the great work, and no matter what your Apple Sheep Army will support you. Thank you. Just a fan from Greece from podcast. Hey, appreciate that. So maybe this stream is going to be smaller than most of them because um, I messed up at the beginning there and made the privacy unlisted, and now it doesn't want to send out an alert to everyone. But everyone's going to get kind of upset about that. Should I do something about that? I don't know what to do about that. I don't know. maybe you guys get a bit more of a private stream. Renato Miranda Gonclaves is here. Welcome. Let me not load this on my phone. Neil Shee, hola, welcome. Am I muted? Oh, now you got it in your sub feed. Good. Okay, it sounds like the alert is going out. That's what we needed. Thank you guys. Thanks for clarifying. So what has been new in tech this week? CES has been going on. I know people have been asking me about stuff, and CES more for the last couple of years for me has always been look at the technologies that we can technically create, but not actually sell for the market. Usually CES feels like a playground to me, so I don't get too eager for it. There's a lot of toys that they aren't really functional, but they're just cool at a show. Like that, I made a tweet about it. The 3 4K monitored gaming computer. I'm like, oh god, really? That's what we're going with? It's like a 12-pound laptop, about that thick, and it has 3 4K monitors built into it, which is like, I guess that's cool. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna become a thing. I think that's gonna be a one-time card. The Faraday card did look interesting. Yeah, I saw. The problem with the Faraday company is that it's not really for consumers. They're just kind of making cars to show off to people, and that's about all they do. So it's like, yeah, good for you. And they're like, this is so much better than like the Tesla. Look what the Tesla can't do this. It's like, yeah, but Tesla like is available to the public. People can buy them. But instead we have Faraday showing off how cool a car can look with the little light going around the sides and stuff, and that makes it cool. Oh shoot, we dropped 6 frames. Don't lag out on me. Come on, we have enough problems as it is. If I get more dropped frames, I'll do something, but currently we're okay right now. But all right, let's dive into the chat. I'm making sure internet's turned off on my phone so that we're good. Andrew, have you thought about doing live streams on your main Tailosive channel? Then you can talk about more stuff. I feel like Apple loving streams will get old fast. I haven't thought about that. I don't know what we'd talk about. Would it just be me? Just random Q&As? I don't know. But no, I haven't thought about that. Live streams are tough. They are very, very complicated, and there's always something that goes wrong. That's what I don't like about live streams, is that you'd think it'd be a simple go live button, but man, everything gets more complicated. If Apple never invented the iPhone, where would phone be today? Lots of buttons, probably, and a lot less user-friendliness. You wouldn't see teenagers with smartphones. The BMW that Austin Evans did a vid on was sick, says Neil Shea. I haven't checked that out. I haven't watched Austin Evans in a while, but I watched MKBHD. Was that the same one? He drove a BMW of some kind. I'm still not, like... I don't get the point of a car that self-drives, but you need your hands to touch the wheel every once in a while, because that's what I noticed in MKBHD's videos. I'm like, if I have to touch the wheel every now and then what's the point? Like, I'll just steer the car. That's what I have to do anyway. But I guess it's cool. There's always been car shows or show off of what the future of cars will be, and we don't see it until someone implements it. You know, like, I think it's not that hard for a company to make a prototype, and they can get a lot of good press for that prototype. But until they mass produce it and make it accessible to the public, I'm not really that impressed. I feel old. I'm older than smartphones. Aiden Neal said, I guess I am. I mean, it's not that old. Where do you see the iPhone in 10 years from now, KBD? Probably a lot like that video I just released about how thin tech can get, is things getting lighter and faster as they have been. I don't think we're in any chance of that slowing down. Everything's going to get faster, better, lighter, we'll probably get more expensive, but also less expensive at the same time. We'll just have a larger diameter of things we can of options for people to do. So cheaper iPhones and more expensive iPhones. It'd be really cool. Like I'm anticipating this iPhone 8, whatever it's going to be called, the glass one, with the wireless charging and stuff like that, to be extra expensive. It will be like a premium model or something like that. But and I think they're going to call the next iPhone if they're going to do anything. They might call it 8. They might just stick with 8 for a while. But I think eventually they're going to have to stop ditching numbers, because you don't want to say iPhone 12, 13, 14. That gets old. Like, the numbers get too big and then it doesn't really roll off the tongue. But it's likely, because Apple's done that in the past, to just call it iPhone. And that's it. It'd be really annoying if they just called it like Apple Phone or something stupid like that. But yeah, I don't want them to rebrand like that. Anyway. Yeah, I think they would change it after the 10. If they want to call it iPhone X, that'd be cool. Something like that. What is your favorite audio manufacturer? I don't have a lot. Everyone's pretty good at it. Zoom is the guy. Zoom, sorry, is the company that makes my microphone that I record my videos with. They're pretty good, so good for them. Oscar Jackson says, Oscar Jackson says, I have the new MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, and I agreed with the MacBook video the whole time. Good. I'm glad you agreed. Yeah, I think the whole battery life thing of everyone saying, oh, the battery life's awful, was really, really overblown, because I was editing a video today when I was at a coffee shop, and battery life was fine. I was running a video picture-in-picture. I was listening to it with my AirPods, so it was wirelessly sending audio to that, both from Adobe Premiere and YouTube, as well as a wireless mouse to edit with. And I sat there for a good 3, maybe 4 hours just editing, and no power, just sitting there, and I was comfortable. And by the time I was done editing, it was at around 50%. So I was just like, why does Consumer Reports say battery life is so... Again, I don't know what it used to be. So, yeah, everyone was asking me what I thought of Consumer Report. I never read Consumer Reports, but apparently they're the biggest reviewers and their opinion really matters. So not to me. No one should base their whole purchasing decision on one company. It should be several different sources. But anyway, let's see what else we got. What is your favorite camera? Says Aiden Niels. I'm really eyeing the GH5. I think that's one thing I was really excited about from CES. If it was from CES, it probably was. Because it's the first consumer-grade camera capable of shooting 4K at 60 frames a second. So that had me like... I was excited when I heard that. So that's kind of the next camera I'm eyeing, because whatever camera I buy next, I want it to be an upgrade. And currently, I have 2 cameras that can already do 4K at 30. So 4K is not like a giant leap for me. But yeah, I was really eager to like just see how I don't know, how would maybe the MacBook Pro could handle 4K at 60? I don't know. I'd have to experiment with that. But might have to use proxies, turn down the preview settings all the way. Computer's going to get real hot. But it would be really, really cool if you could upload videos on YouTube at 4K at 60, even though like no one's going to see that. But at least at 1080 at 60, you would notice that, as well as people out there who have 4K monitors. They could also be appreciated. So you could cover everything at once. Because right now I have to choose, like, when I want to be fancy with a video, I can say 4K or 60. But GH5 would let me choose both. SNS says, GH4 is still awesome. I use it for some footage on my Mixed Films channel. GH5 will be better. Well, obviously, it's the new rendition. Of course it will be. Yeah, sorry, Rob. I'm straight, and yes, actually, since the stream is small, I'll announce this. Yes, I recently got a girlfriend. So, that's exciting. But this is a text stream. Ash says, are you aware that the logo resembles the female reproductive system? I wasn't, but I guess that's just the letter T in general. But good eye, Ashton. It resembles several things. First of all, it's a T. Second of all, it looks like an apple sheep head, so it's got the little ears and the snout and whatever. So that's the other reasoning. It's also have 5 sections, and that's to represent the 5 different YouTube channels we have, which are tech, main, gaming, movie reviews, and talks, and those are all active now, which is cool. So yeah, there was a lot going into it, but no, not the female reproductive system. That was unintentional. Neil Shia, yes, I'm a savage, but while you're bringing her up, allow me to text her real quick. Because if she wants to watch this, luckily, that's in the past. How do you afford all of your Apple tech? Asks Shane Kellum. Lots and lots of work. I don't have my parents buy it for me, if that's what you think. I pay rent. I pay car insurance. I pay for my car. I pay for gas, and I pay for all of my tech, including my cell phone bill. So there's not any kind of financial assistance going on my end. But I work at a mandarin ranch, and I'm kind of like the second-hand man there because believe it or not, I know I come across as a big nerd, but I'm very strong, and I'm a good listener to my boss. So he basically asks me over all the time for work to be done because he's getting up there. And there's lots and lots of work to be done around the ranch. What cell carrier do I have? Verizon. Which is expensive, I know. But it's like I'm part of my family plan, but I don't pay for the whole family plan. My parents just tell me what my line costs, and I pay for my portion of the line. Has there been a live stream where you've not talked about the mansion ranch? Not really. Just because I feel like somehow everyone keeps asking what I do for a living or how I make money or something like that, but I still have not said it every single time. But yeah, the Mandarin Ranch, it exists, yeah. And I'm in California. Hi, Matthew H. They're like oranges, yes. Mandarins I think they taste better than oranges. They got a bit more tart to them, and they're very sweet. And what is the place you are working at about? What is it about? It's about making good fruit. We have trees and they grow fruit. We pick the fruit and we put it in bags and sell it to people. Here, gotta text my GF. There, gone. There, and we're never gonna mention her again. Alex Hadfield, what carrier do you think is best / most innovative? All I've really had is Verizon because we know that they have the most coverage. And we get they're expensive, but still, like, I just want it to work. I'd rather pay extra and have a limited data plan for internet that I know is always going to be there. And Verizon covers so many different places. And if I were to switch away from Verizon, it would be really noticeable that like, oh wait, I had this coverage before and now I don't. So yeah. Something like a farmer. Yes, exactly like a farmer. What is your favorite Apple product ever? Asks Aiden. I would say just the iPhone. I gotta go standard. There's like, because technically I could run an entire channel just with the iPhone if I want to. What do you think is better? Maybe we're not going to go into the girlfriend question. Neil Shia says T-Mobile is improving coverage rapidly. I'm sure they're not close to Verizon, but yeah, I'm sure everyone's improving. That's the big misconception is people say, no, people kept saying, no, AT&T's expanding, T-Mobile's expanding. But keep in mind, Verizon is too. Like there are very rare occasions where Verizon has low coverage, but all of a sudden I go there now and now they have better coverage. So it's like every carrier is expanding. How would your life be without Apple? Asks Johnny LeBlanc. Very, very different. In fact, we probably wouldn't be talking right now. But yeah, it would be much less exciting tech world, and a very much less innovative tech ecosystem. If I didn't have Apple, it would be like Windows computers, Windows laptops with Android phones, and probably an Android smartwatch or a Samsung watch, which haven't impressed me. In fact, I read an article on Twitter today that said Samsung's working on iOS support for the S Gear watches, and I'm like, what? Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna pay full price for an S Gear? That's gonna really not efficiently. Whoa, there she is. Yeah. Also, I better silence this watch actually real quick. Oh, not waterproof it. Here, gotta shoot all the water out of it. Can I? Oh, we got it all. I love that feature. I hope that when they eventually do bring waterproofing to the iPhone, like IP68 waterproofing, that like the speakers on the bottom of the phone will just. So many new people. We've gained a lot of subscribers since the last stream. Um, SNS Pictures has a comment here. If Apple didn't exist, Andrew wouldn't be able to drop out of college and pursue this as a career, and we would be doing something better with our time other than watching Andrew. You're exactly right. Yeah, you wouldn't be wasting your time. You'd be watching something more entertaining and probably be getting real tech advice. I don't like that the Apple Watch doesn't have an always-on time display. I'm going to miss my Pebble. Rob, I'm sorry about that. You know, I had the S Gear, or what was it, the Android Wear with an always-on display, and that actually bothered me because I knew after a while that the battery life was going down on the watch, even though I wasn't using it. I don't like the fact that I could be doing this and my arms. I'm not looking at my watch, and it's still using battery. That makes sense on something with an incredibly long battery life, like the regular watches with that run on very very little power. But when it comes to a smartwatch, if it's an always on display, I want the battery life to be really, really great. And luckily you could turn it off, and I did. I didn't like the fact that even when I wasn't using it, it was using power. Do you think Touch ID inside the mouse would be cool for the new iMac? That's an interesting idea. I haven't heard of that one. It's just already your hand's already there, I guess. But would you put a fingerprint reader on the Magic Keyboard with a touch bar, if that's a thing? If people are going to do that? I don't know. They still might not do it just because you'd have to charge your keyboard and mouse like every 2 days or maybe once a night. Do you turn in your watch off in movie theaters? No. I leave the watch on. I just put it silent. Have you ever been dissatisfied with an Apple product? I'm trying to think. I feel like I have. It's in some way. Was there ever a disappointment? Maybe no, because I'm an apple shape. There's no way to ever be disappointed. Um, I don't have a lot of notifications to manage, but I'm really active. So is it worth it for me to get an Apple Watch? Um, Sasaki Hayes. I'd say the activity thing is definitely the best I've ever seen. The Fitbit method of delivering like every single detail about your activity was cool, but I prefer Apple's because it's so much more simple. They break it down into 3 rings: standing, exercise, and calories burned. I don't really need to know the other stuff. Fitbit kind of prided itself on like what kind of stuff was the Fitbit into? Your current heart rate all day, and I wasn't sure why I needed to know that. Or sleep tracking is something that really confuses me because that's really not helpful. It's only there for like curiosity. Because I've done the sleep tracking apps and stuff where you like put your phone on the bed and it like monitors your sleep activity. And I just remember doing that for like a week or 2 weeks and saying, "Oh, look, I slept tonight. I had ups, I had downs. Great." Like what are you going to do with a sleep tracking app once you have that data? "Oh, look, I didn't sleep well." What do I do with that? Like how is that useful? I don't know, but calories and like standing is something that I can see. Like I've been sitting for too long. I haven't been very active today. Whereas the sleep tracking, I don't know what to do if it's bad. "Oh, I didn't sleep well." Great. I don't know what to do. Hey, Hannah Jackson, how are you? Do you think at some point during our lifetime autonomous cars will be mandatory? I really hope not. That's an interesting idea. I'd say it's possible. I'm not for it. I'm not trying to say that's good. I'm just thinking, yeah, I could see that happening within the next 70 years. The idea that all self-driving cars and like autonomous vehicles will be required, to the fact that they might take away our privilege of driving cars because honestly, human beings are terrible drivers. We destroy each other, and we destroy our automobiles, and we die like every 10 minutes there's another car crash where someone dies. And it sounds like something tech companies and the government would agree on, that autonomous cars, while they rarely have problems, are statistically safer than human drivers, and will reach a point where just every car on the road will be autonomously driven. And you could actually make things a lot more efficient, because if all the cars could drive themselves, they could drive a lot faster, and they could be a lot safer, because we wouldn't have to worry about people on the road that are being idiots, driving too fast and dodging around cars. We could just have all these cars come up on the highway, and they're all communicating with each other, and they could all unanimously say, let's all go 130 now. And they all go fast, and that's how they make sure they don't run into each other. No one's really passing each other either, because they don't need to. And you can have people, sensors no driver, facing each other or facing backwards in the car. That way, if there's a wreck, you have much less whiplash, because your back and your head would be against the part that's getting hit, so you don't whip your head back like we are facing forward. But yeah, it'll be like seat belts. It's mandatory if the car was made after 1964. Yeah, SNS, you're probably right. It'd be something like that. Excuse me. Amir says, off topic, all the tech, knowledge, power in the world, and people are still dying from hunger and killing each other with drones. More tech equals more blood. We people are cursed. By the way, I really love your tech. But what would be the point of driving? No, you'd be going from place to place, but it's essentially if everyone had their own private Uber driver. Tech is powerful. It's not inherently good or bad. There is tech that is saving people's lives. Keep that in mind. There's machinery that is being used in hospitals that is saving people like never before. We have 3D printers that can print, that are coming up on the ability to print new lungs, new organs for people. So that's saving lives. But yes, unfortunately, there is still technology that is used to kill others. So I wouldn't say it's good or bad. It's powerful. That's what it is, and it's up to us to use it for good. Johnny LeBlanc just won a game of Overwatch. Good for you. What messes the cars up is dealing with people driving around them. So it's ironic that people blame the tech. Exactly, yeah, but it's just, I'm sure that 95% of the autonomous car process has been covered, as in they have gotten cars to drive on the road, make turns, read traffic signals, read stoplights. They've gotten all that down. What they're working on right now that is preventing it from becoming a law is probably the exceptions, when things get weird, as in construction zones. So someone's got a sign, and the robot's gotta know how to read that sign. Or driving at night in the snow when it's rainy. When there's low visibility, how does the car react to that? It's going to be a while before we can trust the car to understand every possible situation that a human can. So I think we're a little bit far away from that. But 95% of the process, most of the driving we do, I'm sure a computer can already do that. They're just working on those very, very rare exceptions where a robot probably will have trouble. Hello, Ella. Welcome. Matthew H. says, I really liked your What's on My iPhone. I would have done the same thing. Yeah, everyone kept asking for that, and I didn't understand why that was such high demand, because it's like, why are people interested in that? And I don't really use a whole lot of third-party apps, as I said in that video. So it's just like, I've got messages for texting people. I've got the camera, activity for it wasn't that exciting. What else we got? I agree. I wish this notification went out to more people. I'm sorry that it didn't work. I guess we just kind of have a dud stream. That's all right. You guys get a bit more intimate of a stream this time. What's your favorite console, PS4 or Xbox One? Well, Alejandro, if you didn't know, I reviewed both of them and compared them. And I came to a conclusion that I thought both of them did a bad job. In fact, both of them could be much, much better just by doing simple things. And it makes me really wish Apple made a console, because I think they'd be good at it. If they gave... because the difference with the Apple community and the Apple operating systems is that when Apple moves to a new OS, all the third parties, all of the software developers and game developers understand that there is an army of hardcore Apple sheep out there who are going to buy it regardless. We don't need a reason to. We will just buy it because. And if they did that, then I think a lot of game developers would flock to an Apple TV Pro or whatever you want to call Apple's version of a console, because if they had the right, specs, the graphics processing in there, they would have a great ecosystem, but they don't yet. So PS4, I'm not a fan of controller gaming. I guess I grew up on PC gaming, and I had a custom built PC for a long time, and that's just so much better in so many ways, because the problem with consoles is they're really not good at doing a ton of things. I guess the gameplay is the main appeal, but they're not very good at being TV boxes. I think they're unnecessarily complicated, just like changing the volume. You'd think that'd be easy. Yeah, PC Master Race, I'm part of that. Yeah, I think people would make games for an Apple TV Pro, because there are already so many companies making apps for the Apple TV, the regular one, and it has nothing. It has like an A8 chip, and yet everyone's trying to put these games on there, but it's because they know there's a very, very hardcore fan of Apple users. So I think that would be really good potential. And then Xbox wasn't really efficient either. So what you're really buying into when you're buying consoles is exclusives, which is fine if you really love The Last of Us or you really love Halo. Just remember that's a $300 game that you're buying, not a $60 game. And then yeah, that was my other point, is that the games for consoles are so expensive compared to the sales you can get on Steam or Origin, and a computer is also an entire computer on top of that. A gaming PC is not just good for gaming. You can do video editing on that. You can use it for work. You can, Windows 10. It's a whole operating system, where I feel like a console, while its main appeal is affordability, is really only good at one thing, and that thing can be done better with a more expensive device like a gaming PC. But my point is, if you can't afford a gaming PC, don't spend $300 on a console, because you should probably be working or save up for something that you can actually afford and actually use as a tool as well. I just think $300 for something that does one thing is too much. 13-inch MacBook Pro games fine, Aiden Niels? Wow, I didn't know that. It depends on the games, of course, but yeah. He's more of an Apple sheep, not a gamer. That's true. Apple Pencil for Apple Watch, Hannah? I've thought about it. I would be lying if I say I haven't tried that. Yeah, it'd be stupid. But there's no ports. How would you connect it? But it's a funny idea. Who wants a stylus? Exactly, Theo. Steve Jobs. It's all right. Everyone loves to theorize that they know exactly how Steve Jobs would have ran Apple if he was alive today, and that he'd be disappointed. No one knows that. We need to stop pretending we think we know. What are your favorite rumors for the next iPad? I'm not super excited for thinner bezels, because that seems to be the most appealing part right now, is the fact that bezels are going to be thinner, and that's like, I get over that so fast. I look at it once and I go, wow, that's very futuristic, and then I'm over it. Like, that doesn't help the productivity of the device at all. But the fact that they're removing the home button draws some attention to me, because I'm like, what are they going to replace that with? The little on-screen circle? And if so, does that mean they're going to add a taptic or haptic engine to the iPad? In that case, I am curious, because that means we could add 3D touch to the iPad, and that would be impressive, because no one's really been able to do kind of like, the vibration feedback on a tablet of that size. So that would be impressive to me, but there's not a whole lot. Like, I really don't think I'm gonna buy it, and I know I say that about almost every Apple product, but and I usually end up doing it in the end. But you should work for the Apple Store. That would be a decrease, really. Box around 95. I definitely could. I'm sure I could pass that test to get in there, but I would be dealing with people who know nothing about tech instead of talking with people who are actually interested in tech. In this job, I get to discuss how I think technology should be. At an Apple Store, I would discuss how Apple products are, which we all know how they are. and I'd be dealing with people who don't know the terminology, and I would have to be dumbing it down as much as possible. I like talking with people who are much smarter than me, or at least at my level, and I feel like most of you are way smarter than me or my level. 20-inch Super iPad Pro. Remember, did you ever watch that show Victorious on Nickelodeon? They had those giant tablets on there. I thought those were stupid. But Samsung made this thing called the Galaxy View. It's an 18-inch tablet. Boy, does it look ridiculous. I hope someone out there bought it. At least one person. Speaking of stupid people, does it make you mad when people say, "Is that the iWatch?" Yeah, that it's frustrating that it's been out for long over a year, and I guess over 2 years now we've had an Apple Watch, and yet people are still calling it iWatch, and it's like that has still never been the name once. But it was kind of weird because I remember everyone saying it's going to be called the iWatch before it was released, and then they decided they want to put Apple in the name for some reason. I don't know, but there's some story behind it, and if you woke up as Tim Cook tomorrow, wait, let me read this. If you woke up as Tim Cook tomorrow, what is the first thing you would do regarding Apple? Well, I think you're right. At first thing I would do is freak out. But what would I change about Apple right now? That's a good question. I think we're due for an iMac update. That's something I would actually focus on. Is making. Well, first of all, it's kind of silly that we have a 2 terabyte solid state option for the MacBook Pro, which is great, but not the iMac. I feel like the iMac should have more spec options than the MacBook. So that to me screams that the iMac is ready for an update. Second of all, I'd love to see complete USB-C conversion on the iMac, as in no ports on the back except 5 USB-C ports. Exactly. Get rid of all those ports. Just to make things consistent with the ecosystem, it'd be nice to have a space gray iMac. I think people would get excited for that. And alongside it, you could unveil maybe the Magic Mouse with the fingerprint built in, or the Touch Bar wireless keyboard. I think like non-Apple users would even be curious in getting a Bluetooth keyboard with the Touch Bar, just so they could do like the emoji features and bring Touch Bar support to Windows and stuff like that. You only need 4 ports. I personally think you could do less. Eventually, we'll be getting rid of even more and more ports, but yeah. SNS says, I work at McDonald's and customers ask me if the thing on my wrist is the iWatch all the time. I'm sorry about that, but yeah. The annoying company copyrighted iSwatch, so iWatch is too close to that. Oh, that's right. There was some other company. Yeah, it was some weird reason. Kermit the Boy says, if you had to use one Apple product line to use for the rest of your life, you could upgrade it, but it would need to be the same product. What would it be? Obviously, the iPhone, because this is unparalleled. But I guess at the same time, how many millimeters is my Apple Watch? 42. It's the big one. I recommend the big. I think the 38 one's way too small. The problem with that is, though, like, if I can't have a MacBook, I can't have an Apple Watch, and I can't have an iPad, is the iPhone still worth it? That is a tough one. Well, it doesn't have a headphone jack, so yes. That alone is why. Can I have AirPods? Does that count? iCar or Apple Car? They'll probably say Apple Car. I don't know why. But now we know that's not officially happening, unfortunately. They're focusing on software that's going to be integrated into smart cars, but yeah, not quite a hardware model like we thought there was going to be. I would be more excited for a pro iOS suite like video editors, etc., than new actual iPads. Yes, Xenos Q17, I totally agree. If we could just have some companies, especially Apple, it would be great if they could step forward and say, let's make the iPad Pro actually for professionals, not just making vacation videos, because when it comes to mobile editing apps, that seems to be all editing companies think people do, is make vacation videos. It's like, we really don't. In fact, everything's now just this Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat world. We don't really... There's not a lot of people who film their vacations and edit them into videos anymore. But people who are... The majority of people, I think, who are using video editors are trying to make actual stories or content and stuff like that. And there's just no software. And I know the hardware is there. The iPad Pro is extremely powerful. We just need a program within that iOS ecosystem. You're right, that can actually do some professional things. I'd love to see Final Cut on iPad. That would be amazing. Where are you from? What am I from? My mother. No, Oroville, California. You can look it up. Ella says, I thought the 42 was way too big on me. It looked ridiculous. Really? I seem to think this is the perfect size. Whenever I see the 38, even if like you're a smaller person, I feel like the 38 is just too tiny. Just too tiny. I wish they had a bigger one than the 42. I wish I could go one size extra. That would be nice. Do you personally think that iPhones are at a right price, Neemsterdan? Yes, I would agree. I don't think they need to be cheaper. I think the sad fact of the matter is everyone who has an iPhone right now, I think, would willingly pay more for it. As in, if they raised the price of the iPhone $200, most iPhone users right now wouldn't switch. They would pay for it just because they love it so much and that ecosystem is part of. I remember back before the iPhone 7 came out, there was leaked reports of the pricing of the next iPhone, and one of them was the iPhone 7 Pro. There was rumors that there was going to be that Pro model. I made a video about that, and the leaked price, the leaked price of it was like $1,400. It was going to be like this ultra expensive but very capable model. So that's what I saved for that year. I was just like saving all my money, not spending too much, and keeping it reserved. And I had $1,400 reserved long before the iPhone 7 was even announced, just because I knew it was my upgrade. I knew it was time to make the switch up from the 6 Plus, because I was ready for 4K and I was ready for 3D Touch and all those features. But then it came out and Pro wasn't a thing, which I guess was a little sad, but I'm not disappointed in what we got. I was very, very curious to see what the smart connector was going to do. Very curious to see what was going on there. And I'm still curious to know why it was canceled, like what caused that. But I had a lot reserved for it, and luckily I didn't have to pay $1,400 for my phone. I only paid like, I think $500 because it was my upgrade, and there wasn't that Pro model. It was just a Plus model. So I got exactly what I wanted. But do you think the AR glasses are going to be called iWatch or Apple Glasses? Asks William. I think they're going to go with the Apple way of saying things, like Apple Glass, likely. Which I'm very curious about, because I don't wear glasses, but I feel like if there were smart glasses, I definitely would start. And then I'm going to have a whole new look. As long as they don't look stupid. That's what I think we're waiting for. The reason Apple isn't releasing smart glasses this year, even though I'm sure they definitely could have, they're going to wait until they can fit that tech into a small, light, and fashionable look, so that when you wear them, you don't look like an idiot. Google Glass. How much space have I used on the 256 gigs of my phone? Let me check. I've used 70 gigs of the 256. There you go. Check that out. Still got 230 gigs to go. Man, that's the way I like it. I will fill it up. Don't worry. Apple competitor for Alexa and Google Home. Influence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. People have been saying that, or Tim Cook, I think, said directly that they don't see the point in these smart speakers. And I agree, because we have these digital assistants literally on our wrists, in our pockets, wherever we go. That's why I don't get the idea of having a dedicated part of your home to talk to something. And I do think they're overhyping the idea that I'm going to use all 256 gigs. I'm just not there yet. I got lots of pictures that I'm saving, and I'm taking lots of video, and it's going to take time, but it'll happen. People are overhyping, I think, digital assistants that are speak only. Because I think we're not realizing how complicated it is to articulate yourself to a computer. I know I've talked about this before, and maybe it deserves its own video, but a farmer wants to use his tool the way he likes to. He doesn't want to tell the tool what to do, because honestly, in my line of work, people know exactly what they're doing all the time, and they can show you how to do a specific job, because there's all kinds of things to do at the Mandarin Ranch, between running the hopper and running fruit down the line, and pruning and cutting rope out of the trees that was used for keeping it together, and propping and stuff like that. But they don't like telling you how to do it. They want to show you how to do it, because then they don't have to worry about articulating. They know what to do, but if I ask them, just tell me how to do it. You don't have to do it. Just tell me. They're like, well, you take the, because then you have to think of the names of things. You need to think of the actions of things. And both my boss and the people I work with don't really like taking the time to articulate instructions. That's why I think digital assistants are going to be kind of left in the tracks. It's going to be one of those things we think is going to be the future, but it won't be the leading cause of it. It's always going to be here. They're not going to go away. It's just they're not going to be as popular as everyone thinks they are. Everyone I know who talks to the phone all the time is always kind of showing it off. They want to let everyone know how cool their phone is, but like, okay, sorry, I don't mean to set it off. Okay, this company, and then they say something, and then they want to show everyone like, whoa, look, I did that with my voice, and I don't think it's going to catch on. Are you going to get faster internet? Not at my house. I can't. Believe me, I've tried countless times to get an upgrade. Comcast, not available. Xfinity, not available. Digital Path, not available. We have the fastest internet possible at my house, and I still cannot upload there. It is impossible. There's no alternative. Alex Lee says, are you going to keep tabs on the news of the Galaxy S8? Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I really enjoyed the Note 7 until it exploded in my face. It didn't. But from what I'm hearing about the S8, it sounds interesting. I'm curious of that edge-to-edge display. USB-C, of course. It's good that they're adapting that. What else? Someone said that the front-facing camera is going to be great because it has autofocus. I don't know. But yeah, I'll keep tabs on it. I'm curious. I thought about doing a rumor roundup. I think it'd be great if they remove the headphone jack. I'd be very excited for that. Oh, just download faster internet, Bob? Okay, that's a good point. How do you watch Netflix with internet that bad, SNS? Well, first of all, I can't watch Netflix if anyone else in the house is watching Netflix. So when my mom and dad, they're watching a show, I can't watch the show. That's how bad it is. So I wait. Usually I stay up real late to watch Netflix because they go to bed earlier than I do. So around 9:30, they head off to bed, and that's when I watch my shows. Or I watch shows with them. It's terrible. I have to watch shows with my parents. No, I love my parents. We get along very well. If you had to use a company other than Apple and be loyal to them, who would it be? Kermit the boy. That's a good question. I feel like I'd want a hybrid between Microsoft and Samsung. Because there's not really a Google ecosystem that works. And Samsung's laptops and tablets run Windows 10. So I guess I'd have to say probably Samsung, just because they cover that many fields: watch, tablet, phone, computer. So I could still do my job. It wouldn't be as fun, but I could still do my job if I was loyal to Samsung and no other. But not Microsoft, because there's no watch, there's no phone. I mean, there is Windows Mobile, but we don't go there. I don't want to go there. It's not something that would be preferable. When do you think the iPhone will be fully glass? If I had to put a number on it, I'll say the 2040s. We're a long ways away between we can get just like a complete transparent phone with nothing. Best show on the Netflix, by the way, is Stranger Things. Watch it. You can do offline watching on that show. SNS, I've seen Stranger Things 5 times over. It's a great show. In fact, you should head over to Tailosive Movie Reviews, where I'll be reviewing it later. What happened to my red sport band? I still have it. I'm just not wearing it. I'm going with this like black and white color scheme on everything, because having a red and black color scheme on all Apple products is increasingly difficult, especially with like AirPods and stuff. But yeah, I'm going more white accessories instead of red. If you were able to bring one Apple product to the past, what would it be and why? I agree with Craig Federighi. I would bring the iPhone, just because there's so much capability there. It's kind of the core of everything we do now is our smartphones. It's with us. It's very capable. And like all our other gadgets kind of surround the iPhone. Exactly. Vito agrees. Anyone bother you when wearing AirPods? Not to my face, Kermit, but I'm sure I've been made fun of without knowing it, and I'm okay with that. I got made fun of in high school all the time. I wear them, and I don't really care if people give me looks, because I love them so much. They sound good. I was at a coffee shop. I told you for today for a long time, and I just had them in my ears, and I paid for my coffee with my watch, and sat down and used my wireless headphones with my laptop and my wireless mouse, and no one approached me and said, "Hey, you're cool. You're an amateur." I bet there was dudes in there thinking, "Wow, look at this dork," and that's okay. They're allowed to think that. If you did Tailosive movie reviews, I would subscribe in a heartbeat. Oh, well, SNS, you're in luck because Tailosive movie reviews already exists. It's a real thing. I wasn't kidding. Hannah Jackson says, eye tracking exists now, just not as consumer product. Do you think that could be integrated into phones? Eye tracking? Oh, yeah. Inevitably, everything will be built into phones, and basically anything a computer do will move to a smartphone if it's possible. Windows Hello is a bit different from eye tracking. That's how you memorize the face. No, I mean if you yourself, not your friends. Oh, SNS. I'm posting I finished my thoughts on Rogue One, Star Wars, a Star Wars story. To movie reviews. I'm gonna publish it right after this podcast. Sorry, we're not a podcast. After this live stream, I'm gonna publish it. It's my first edited video on there for a while, so I'll be there. When will you make videos on your old Macs, Sunburnt Lobster? The problem with making videos on the old Macs is it's really just kind of fan service, and it takes a while because I have to get the Mac out and I have to say what it's good at, and I'm like, I can't really recommend it to people. Should you buy it? No. In fact, they're not for sale. It's kind of no different than Refried Friday. It's fun for the subscribers, but 70% of my views comes from people who aren't subscribed to the channel. So if I need to make money, if I want this to be a career, I kind of have to make videos that people are looking for. Oh, she meant the iris scanner? I don't think that's eye tracking. But, yeah, I guess the iris scanner was introduced on the Note 7, which has now been recalled. So now there's no iris scanner. I'm sure they're building that into the S8. I'm sure we can expect that. Would you like to one day get a studio like MKBHD, etc.? Tom York, yeah, I would love to. The difference is I would not do it for tech videos. It's ridiculous that a tech channel needs a giant gymnasium just to talk about technology. That's ridiculous. I want to make movies more than just tech videos. Tech videos I don't really consider filmmaking because they're so easy. I kind of think it's a joke when tech YouTubers say they're into like filmmaking because all you're really doing is talking in a controlled environment by you. You're not directing people. And second, you're filming things that don't move. You're not filming people, you know. We're reviewing the iPhones, or you just put it there and you buy an expensive slider and not secretly rich, and you just like get shots of it in cool angles, and that's it. It's really easy when you don't have to direct other people. That's why I don't really consider, you know, being a filmmaker. It's showing how many toys you have, and you have a ton of money to spend. But I haven't. The reason I wanted to make really biased tech videos is because every tech channel I watched wasn't informative. People show you the list of tech specs and say, this one's better because these numbers are better. And yet you have this whole other field of people out there who are interested in Apple products, even though they don't have the best tech specs, and they aren't really being represented. So I was like, someone needs to come out and just say, hey, this is good. I'll tell you why. And that's what I've been doing. Oh, I watch MKBHD. I'm not saying he's a terrible tech reviewer. I'm just saying that's not really filmmaking. I want to actually make written stories. I have made them on the main channel. It's definitely not like my best work. I have to make those in a matter of hours. But I'm directing people, and we're writing scripts, and we're trying to figure out what it means to be funny. Those aren't easy to do. Tech reviews are incredibly easy. That's why I'm able to make like 2 of them a day, is because you can just look at this thing and talk about how much you like it or don't like it. It's not that hard. Whereas like trying to make someone laugh, we still can't answer what exactly humor is, but you know it when you see it. That's tricky to me. And I would like to have a big set in studio to actually make movies, like a Rooster Teeth big studio like that. I don't watch Casey Neistat. No, I don't know who that is. Well, I mean, I know the face. I don't watch. I'm not subscribed. You and I should Netflix and chill. We can make our own movie. Oh, Bob. No. I told you I have a girlfriend. I heard of Who's your favorite YouTuber podcast? Actually, I'm not a fan of most tech channels. I don't watch a lot. I'm actually way more into movie review channels. Red Letter Media is my favorite YouTube channel. I get so excited whenever they come on. It's the only YouTube channel I have merchandise for. I have a Red Letter Media t-shirt. Austin seems a bit more serious. Austin Evans or MKBHD? I think I unsubbed from Austin a while ago because he did something kind of weird with his can't remember what, with his girlfriend on her channel. It was bizarre and I didn't like it, so I unsubbed. I was like, you're kind of weird. Yes, she likes Apple like me. Yes. Danilo Real says that sounded interesting, and well, just figure it out by testing many people with your own funny content. Well, the thing is about the Tailosive main channel, it's just called Tailosive without the tech. It has about 540 subscribers, and everyone there is very supportive of it. Like in the comments, people say this is underrated, this is really funny. So I'm really grateful that the people who do find it, while it is an incredibly low number of people who watch that channel, they're all enjoying it, and that makes me proud. It's like we're obviously doing something right. People are watching these and they're laughing, and we dive into our own characters with the different web series we've made in the cinematic universe with this TCU. So we're getting something right about it, but yeah, it's just it's got to get the audience. We're not there yet. Would you buy a jet white iPhone? No, I would still go with the black hardware. This looks cool. I don't like the jet black look either. It scratches way easier, and that I'm not a fan of. I prefer matte black. Lol, I'm like less than an hour away from Orville. Tell your viewers if you need help with the short. Okay, SNS, I appreciate that. Thank you. Alex Lee says, do you think can be potential for a best lineup of phones if Samsung and an Apple work together on it and bootloaded Android and iOS in each of the phones? Alex, you are thinking of crazy ideas, but man, that would be weird. Samsung and Apple made a phone. It probably wouldn't look right for some reason, but yeah, can you imagine a phone that ran iOS and Android? That would be weird. I can't. So I know Apple encrypts their OS, right? So they don't let you run iOS on any other device. But Google is open source. You can run Android on other stuff. So imagine if Apple one day decided to add boot camp options to iOS. Like, what if you could run Android on your iPhone if you felt like it? Oh, that'd be weird. Apple probably wouldn't go for that. Agreed. You can skip skipless ads on YouTube with the touch bar. Oh, really? You can skip skipless ads. That's good. I haven't tried that. I have YouTube Red, so I haven't had ads on here. But yeah, thanks for the invite. I deserve much more subscribers. Yes, I agree. I work very hard and I produce a lot more content than some of my favorite YouTubers. That always makes me mad. Because it's like, you guys are doing this full time. There's 3 of you. I'm talking about Red Letter Media. There's 3 of you doing this full time, and you're all getting paid, and yet you can only do 1 video every 2 weeks? Really? Like, come on. Do you think the touch bar is a gimmick? I get that question a lot. I don't think it's a gimmick. What I think it is the stepping stone to something better. As in, I don't think we need a touch bar on everything. I think the touch bar is proof that we can have horizontal touch controls with a non-touch display that really works. And I would have loved to see something bigger than the touch bar. Oh, excuse me. Like a whole bottom part of the MacBook touchscreen or the whole keyboard, something like that. Rather than just this narrow strip. But I understand they're scared of taking away the physical keys from people because people are really defensive about travel time. But they're taking little steps. They're playing it safe because they don't want to throw too much at someone at once so that no one wants to buy it because it's way too different. But yeah, I would have loved... I want to see where the touch bar goes. We're like halfway there. The touch bar is a layer of sediment rock that we have yet to put another layer to. Let's see. They're playing around in their gymnasium studio. No daily vids. Yeah, I think you're right, Tom. Yeah, they... Their content is always great when it comes out, and I love it to death. It's just, it takes so long. Hannah says, that would be amazing for school. You could probably use Apple Pencil and write on it? What would? They have to wait for another Star Wars to come out so they can do another Plinkett, though. No, I love it when they do Best of the Worst and they do Wheel of the Worst, and I would watch Mike and Jay from Red Letter Media just talk on a podcast for hours because they're just funny. I've watched all of their videos 3 times over. Touch bar on iPhone? No, stop it. Nothing is going to beat the Plinkett reviews. I was kind of disappointed in the last couple of Plinkett reviews. They weren't that funny to me. But anyway, that was for if the whole button was the whole bottom was a touchscreen. Whoa. The whole. Oh! You're right, Hannah. Yeah, the whole bottom of the MacBook. If that was a touchscreen, we could have way more options in terms of drawing. You're right. That would be great. Anyway, Spark 365. Hi, Drew. Glad to be here. Thanks. We're almost done though. But yeah, I'm glad you can be here for positive. I personally think he is not interested in college. William, are you asking questions? I'm sorry. Do you think that you are going to college in the field of technology? No. I dropped out of college. I went to college for 1 year, and I hated it every second of it. So it's over now. It's expensive, and I like making money. I'm okay with that. I do watch Film Riot, not too loyally though. It's been a while, but yeah, I know who they are. Oh, I know 9 to 5 Mac. I read the news here and there, but not like I'm not a huge fan. I don't read everything, but yeah, you're in your second semester of college and you want to drop out right now. I know the feeling. After my first semester, I was so done because there was just so much hype of it being professional, and when you get to college, you're really using applicable knowledge. You're learning things that are actually going to be used, and that turned out to be a total lie when I got there. Was that put your iPhone in the rain outside? I could. I had to take down the garbage at my house yesterday, which is, if you don't know, it's like a 1/4-mile walk down the driveway to the place where they pick up the garbage cans, and it was raining. It was pouring like this, and I was texting my GF the whole time. It was getting all wet and stuff, and the water was filling in everywhere. And it's fine. It still works. No problem. AirPods in, too. I don't want to do college, though, guys. I want to do filming. Everyone's saying don't drop out. Hey, Drew, what camera do you use to film your tech stuff? Luca Walpole? Look up Lumix FZ300. It's a simple, cheap, fixed lens 4K camera. Which I like that it's 4K, and I like that it shoots at 1080 at 60, but that's about it. I want the GH5 because I'm ready to go back to having extra lenses I can swap out, because before I got the Lumix cameras, I had Canon Rebels, which you could, of course, change the lenses on. And I loved having that, but the reason I wanted the Lumix was because I could get 4K for cheap, and the lens was included, although you can't take it off. So it was a good short-term solution, but oh, thank you guys. He's 18. But yeah, I'm ready to go back to more the professional kind of photography and videography. I think my videos would look a lot better if I had a good lens. Right now, I just have the basic built-in lens on that camera. What do you want for your birthday? I want... I can't tell you. I want... I don't know. Well, you guys can't give me anything, so it's all right. Just probably get some family cash. I want good memories. That's what I want. Do your earpods also get a bit glitchy? Sometimes I take one off and the music doesn't stop, or sometimes I put them in and it doesn't pair. Well, Karma asks, pay attention to one thing. Sometimes when you take the AirPods out, you can be holding the infrared dots on them, and it'll think they're in when they're not. So that's happened to me several times where I've thought that I was like, why is it still playing? And it turns out I was holding it a certain way. And there's of course the option for them to keep playing if you go into the Bluetooth settings, or change the double tap to a play pause instead of Siri. Have you ever used an Android phone as a daily driver? Yes, by the way. If so, for how long did you use it before you went back to iPhone? Yeah, Dean Diamond, I guess you might be new, but I've reviewed the Blue Vivo 5, which was my daily driver, the Nexus 6P, also turned into my daily driver, and the Galaxy Note 7 before I sent it back. And none of them ever made me want to switch. Never came close, because the iOS ecosystem just works so well together that there's never one phone that replaces the iPhone that makes me just want that phone. All phones were nice. I didn't have like an awful experience. But if I had to rank them, I have to say that the Nexus 6P was awful. I hated the buttons on it, how easily they went off. I hated that they were all on one side, and that there was no physical home button, and that the headphone jack was placed on the top, and yet they wanted the fingerprint reader at the top, so you would end up bending your aux cord in your pocket. So now I wouldn't have a problem with that, but because of my AirPod, but whatever. Thank you for congrats on 10,000. Yeah, it was amazing. That was great. Should I use the original iPhone just to see how out of date it is? Don't make it your daily driver. I mean, you can play around with it, but no, I would not say make it your go-to phone. Would you buy the next iPhone? It definitely, Amsterdam, it definitely depends on where this tech channel is. Personally, if I wasn't doing YouTube tech reviews and I was in college or something, or working, I would not buy the iPhone 8 because I'm gonna skip an iPhone every year. That's what I've been doing. Is I skip the S model and get the new one. The difference now, though, is that it might be my job by the time the iPhone 8 comes out. We have no clue how big this channel could be. It could be 50,000. It could be 100,000. And if it is that big and this is my full-time job, then it would make sense for me to buy it, to review it. And at that point, I would be buying a new iPhone every year. So it's possible. We don't know, though. It depends on you guys. Will the AirPods work with the iPhone 5S? Will it pair when I open them? Only on... Well, yeah, I mean, they're still Bluetooth. They're not gonna. I don't think all of them will do the fancy check the battery life thing, but still, at the very least, they'll connect. They'll still play music. I'm saving up for AirPods. Do you think they would survive in my ears while I bike? The earpods fit me perfectly. Oh yeah, Luca, if the earpods fit you, AirPods are gonna be great. Because the only reason earpods fall out is because the cable. AirPods, I wear them all the time. They stay in there very, very comfortably. It's great. The question isn't if they are good sources or not. It's does he use any of those sources routinely? Oh, Vito had a question? On eBay. I don't know. Too far back. Anyway, we've been going for, let's see, hour 7 minutes? Oh, wait. I gotta check something real quick. Give me a second. Wait. I gotta respond to this. Hold on. Here, you guys are getting the special stream. February 16th. That's a long time for AirPods, Aiden. I feel sorry. I normally would be with you, but luckily, because like everyone's so nice, they blew up my phone that morning, letting me know that like AirPods are available, so I got to order them like way before anyone knew about it. It was like 6 in the morning. So yeah, I got lucky. I was definitely lucky. Should Apple do an iPhone 7S or just skip the 8? I've said this before, but I think Apple's going to release the 7S, which will look almost identical to this. If not, it'll be a subtle change. With the product red version with the 7S, and there'll be the faster core, better camera, stuff like that. And then at the same time, they will release the iPhone 8, and that's going to have the glass back, the wireless charging, the OLED display, all that. And that will be way more expensive. And they might call it the 8, they may call it the Pro, whatever. But that's what I'm anticipating. Because people are saying they're going to release 3 new iPhones this year. So I'm anticipating 7S, 7S Plus, and the 8. So that's what I'm seeing. Well, here in Canada, the AirPods are sold out online and ship in February, but I randomly walked into an Apple at Yorkdale in Toronto, and they had lots in stock, but not listed online. Oh, it's a secret. That's interesting. Yeah, I heard they were going to be in Apple stores too, but yeah, that's interesting. Can you do an Apple Watch review like a year later, thoughts? Well, I guess I don't think it's been a year. I have the Series 2. But yeah, it's so weird on my channel how well the 1 year later videos do. I don't know why people care so much about that. But my biggest video on my channel right now is the Apple Pencil review 1 year later. Where I just kind of talked about, yeah, I guess it still exists. It was real basic, but it has like, I don't know, it's 87,000 views or something like that. Still not my record. My record is 100,000. I have yet to beat that. But that wasn't on the tech channel. That was on a different channel. But it's probably going to beat that pretty soon. People want to know if it's worthwhile long term. I guess you're right, Hannah. Um, it's just funny that like the iPad Pro 1 year later, that did real well. It's weird. Maybe I should do a MacBook Pro 30 days later. I don't know what to say. It's just I just reviewed the product. What am I gonna say now? It still does all of these things. Do I like cats? I'm more of a cat person than a dog person. I know that breaks the heart of a lot of people out there, but yes, I have a cat. He's annoying. He's fat and lazy and he bites people, but he's quiet. That's the difference between a cat and a dog. Do you go to the Apple Store often to browse and hang out? No, the closest Apple Store is like an hour away for us, so I don't really go see them a lot. Um, but when I do, I usually walk in and just hang out. I'm hoping one day I get noticed at an Apple Store. I think that'd be cool. Is there anything Apple could do to make you completely change ecosystem? Ooh. It'd have to be something big. Change my whole ecosystem? I'd probably say... No, I don't know. They'd have to like ditch everything at the same time. Maybe if some idiot pitched the idea of merging iOS and macOS and it wasn't perfected yet and it ended up destroying all of the third-party apps on macOS so that only like the Mac App Store, only those apps would run on the Mac. Maybe something like that could be an ecosystem killer, but I don't see that happening. It'd be very rare. Would you consider moving to a bigger city if there was good reason to? I would need a good reason to. I don't know what one is. Give me a reason to move to the bigger city. Go out of business, yeah. Apple could go out of business. Apple has released a camera in the 90s and it was a failure. Yeah, that's probably why we don't know about it. It would be nice if we just had a camera with AirDrop. That would save so much time. Yeah, if they merged iOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS, we would probably get some Windows 10 failure kind of thing that I would hate. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Apple's against that. Closer to the Apple Store? I mean, I don't buy Apple products every day. It's a rare occasion. But that's not a main reason to move to a bigger city. It's a lot of money to move. Actually, come to think of it, people probably see a blank time later video and think that something must have changed over that time. Maybe, that's true. It's like a clickbait thing. Gaming streams are a good try. Oh, how do we contact Tim to see if he would review other tech stuff? Yeah, if you go on Tailosive Gaming, we do live streams on there Monday and Thursday, and they're much more quiet. There's a lot less people there. Have you heard of iFi? No, I haven't. What's the point of going to the Apple Store when he owns all the products right now? Exactly. I'm all up to date. Do you have any antivirus protection software installed on your Mac? It's a funny story. I have MacKeeper, but it wasn't because I thought I needed it. It was like somehow I got onto the MacKeeper website and some chat thing that says, "Hey, this isn't a robot. Can I talk to you about stuff?" And I was playing with it because I was sure it was a robot. I was like, "Prove you're human." It's like, okay, I like movies. I'm like, "What kind of movies?" And it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. And I was like, "So how do I know this isn't like pre-made algorithms?" And then I just like got to know this salesman guy. He's a real guy. He had kids and he responded to everything. So maybe it's just a really good robot. But I got to know him real well. And like we became like friends within like 2 hours. We were just like chatting. And then he said, "I hate to cut this off, but I need to ask you if you're interested in buying software." And I was like, "You seem nice, so I guess I'll buy MacKeeper." And I probably got ripped off, but I just felt bad for the guy. He was working like very hard where he was. It was like 15-hour days, and I was like, "Okay, I'll buy him a sale and say he was good at customer service." So, yeah, I guess I have MacKeeper. Excuse me. Do you use your iPhone naked without a case? Absolutely. No case. It's been that way for a long time. Never dropped it. Been that way with my last phone and the phone before it. If I need a new battery for my mid-2012 MacBook Air, where would you recommend I buy one? Don't want a dud. New battery. That's a good question. I don't usually like to mess around with that. Hi, Ethan Jackson. I'd say trust Amazon forums. Or yeah, buy a new MacBook. But if you're gonna do anything, it's like I need to replace, but just trust what other people have done in the past. Connect USB flash drive to iPhone like Android. Very good, Zane. Aloud says, I got a MacBook Pro 2009. What do you recommend I upgrade, the RAM or SSD first? SSD, people don't understand what RAM is. They keep thinking RAM will make their computer faster. It really doesn't. Everyone in the past seemed to think that the more RAM you had, the better. But now we're kind of hitting a wall where they're like, applications don't need a ton of RAM. But Vito disagrees. Vito will disagree with you, but does he have 10,000 subs? Didn't think so. Anyway, how do I convince my parents that my matte black iPhone 7 Plus can survive caseless? Tell them how it's a phablet-sized phone, which means there's a lot more surface area to grab from, and it makes it harder to drop. As in, like, you're much more likely to drop, a bigger... a smaller phone. You're more likely to drop an iPhone 4 or 5 than this because you're gripping it. You got a lot more hand in it. RAM makes Premiere faster, though. Well, SNS. He's on a 2009 MacBook Pro. He's not doing something that fast on a... not editing 4K stuff. I would rather have less RAM on my MacBook and more solid state. Oh, you wouldn't. I would. Not a lie. You have 2 subs, Vito? I'm kidding. You know, Vito, we love you. Don't take it personally. Sure, get more RAM. They're probably right. I don't know anything. Anyway, it's been about an hour 16 minutes, so I've got more work to do. I'm working on the next video, which is what do you call it? Gaming on the new MacBook Pro. Which I know, it sounds like a joke. I should put the laughing, crying emoji right in there. Just because, like, gaming, why? Just to release the film. Oh, everyone's shouting out, I see. Anyway. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I know this stream was kind of smaller than usual. It's because I messed it up at the beginning, but that's all right. New videos on the way. So, this is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one. Timing.